So good to have you on this Facebook Live. So I'm going to wait just a couple minutes till you start popping on, and just a little bit about, but I'm here. Every day is a challenge. I think the other day my internet just went down for whatever reason, and I have so much to do on the internet. It was kind of crazy, so I was a little frustrated with that, but what are you going to do? You push through the frustrations. Hey, Dawn, good to see you. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. So yeah, it's sometimes we have those frustrations, and we know that life is full of frustrations, but it's how we handle those frustrations and we move through them. But today, I'm a thinker. I'm a big thinker, and I love to analyze things, and I love to see what are successful people doing, what is their path, and what is the secret to their success. And I always like to start off my Facebook Lives with a quote, and it's some type of inspiration that inspires me, something I've read, an inspirational quote from one of my mentors, the Bible, whatever, wherever I get my inspiration. So today it's from this awesome book, which is from Grant Cardone, The 10X Rule. And I'm going to go ahead and read you. It's just a sentence or two out of this book, and it's just very apropos. It says in chapter 7, 4 degrees of action. One question that I've received over the years is, exactly how much action is necessary to create success? Not surprisingly, everyone is looking for the secret, the shortcut, and equally unsurprising is the following fact. There are no shortcuts. The more action you take, the better your chances are of getting a break. Disciplined, consistent, and persistent actions are more of a determining factor in the creation of success than any other combination of things. Hey, Melanie. So this is Grant Cardone, 10X Rule. Go pick it up. It's an awesome book. He just summed it up right there, and it's kind of actually what I'm going to be talking about. I've got my trusty notes right here. So recently, one of my Etsy shops was named one of the top 1% of all Etsy shops according to erank.com. I think I'm 3,900 in the world of Etsy shops, and I'm like, wow, this is so crazy to me, because I did this part-time while I was homeschooling my high-functioning autistic daughter and running my full-time fashion design business. I'm just going to see if anyone's popping out. Okay, so ironically, I had no idea what I was doing at first, but in retrospect, I can see this path that I unknowingly was taking, but which I believed really helped partially carve my way to this success on Etsy. And in fact, many of the businesses that I've created, my YouTube channel, my Amazon business, and other Etsy shops, it really comes down to this cycle. And again, I like to look and make this digestible for you guys. So I'm going to call it the cycle of the 5 C's of Etsy success. And it's really not just for Etsy, it's any business for that matter. So I love to study, as I said, successful people, their businesses, their habits, their Etsy shops, their YouTube channels, anything. I love to study successful people. And I noticed that there's this pattern with almost every successful Etsy shop or business. They kind of complete these 5 C's, the 5 C cycle, even if they're unaware of it. So many people who are like, they're trying to have success and they're failing. And what I see is they may not be completing these full cycles that need to be done in your business. And they're kind of stuck in limbo in some of the parts of the cycle. So here's the thing. We all know at the root of every business, there's what? There's a product or there's a service. So the only way you can have a successful business is if you sell that product or service, right? So when I look back on what I did to grow my business, and I'm not talking my fashion design business, that's just, something else, but this Etsy shop to almost multiple six figures, I saw this pattern, which became very apparent to me, not at the time, but after, in retrospect. So these 5 C's, let me talk about those really quick. The first C stands for consumption. So like right now, you are consuming content, you're learning, you're making sense of things, you're understanding, you're doing your market research. And we actually have like way too much content out there to believe, it's like crazy. So when I first opened my Etsy shop, I researched and I really gave a lot of thought about what people were looking for at the time. And I noticed that like tassels were really a hot trend. So I kind of jumped on that board and just went all in and created the shop. So, but we know that like, okay, so consuming content, that's one thing, but it's never going to get the full throttle going. So we need to take that content, we need to create our products. That is the second C. So we need to create the products for what people are looking for. Okay. Obviously that's a no-brainer, but the problem is that people stop right there. They consume and then they create and then they stop, or they consume, create, okay? They never do the third C, which is content release. Okay, so that is releasing that content out into the world because of whatever, they might be fearful, or it's not a good enough product, or oh my gosh, this really, people are hard on themselves and they're like, I can't show this to the world. So they stop releasing their content out, okay? And I see it all the time. This is nothing made up. I work with a lot of different people. Even in my fashion design business, there's tons of fear circulating in all different areas. So you gotta get that content released out to the world, even if it's something that it's not 100% your best work, release that content. So then the fourth C is the consideration. After you release that content, there's going to be a time to collect data. So after you're collecting that data, you're going to start to look at the things that are working. And some people stop there as well. They'll release their product and then they just keep releasing the product without the consideration of what has happened in the retrospect of, hey, why did this product sell? Oh, this product's selling really well. And then starting creating more product around that type of product that has a lot of traction. And then you go back after your consideration, and the fifth C is, and I have my notes here, is the consistency of the whole cycle. You do it, you rinse and repeat. It's this cycle that I see and I noticed that I was doing, and I did it and until I had 500 products on my shop. And when I started putting up products that my ideal client wasn't interested in, I did notice that these products were not what my customer wanted. Don't keep putting more of those products up. Keep putting more of the products that my ideal customer is looking for and is interested in. So it goes like this. You consume information, find out, do research, but don't stop there. Don't keep consuming so much information because you're never going to get anywhere. So you've got to consume. You've got to create, you release it out to the world. Consider what has happened with your market research and your data and your information that you're collecting, and then be consistent, which is the fifth C of this cycle. And you continue it over and over and again. And here's the key though. You can't just spend 90% with consumption and 10% with all of the other C's, because you are wasting way too much time. You want to spend most of your time on your content release, believe it or not. If you spend most of your time releasing content out into the world, more information is going to come back to you. More product is getting out into the world, so your brand will be recognized. And then you get valuable feedback, so you can repeat that process again and again. So does this make sense to you guys? Is this kind of like in a little package that you can digest? I hope so, because I really thought about this. I always prepare my Facebook Lives. I just don't, blabber them out. I really want to make this useful content, so this is just not like consuming. So again, most people, what I see, they're stuck. They're stuck in those first 2 cycles. And it's all usually due to perfectionism. I have to be perfect. I can't have anyone see this. Oh my gosh, my logo's not right. Or, this is the problem, which is the battle of the mind. But I promise you, people are really, really busy. They're not worried about you. I mean, we all think that we're like all that. And I promise you, people are more concerned about themselves and what they can get for themselves than your imperfect product at the time. So stop being so hard on yourselves. I see it like people beating themselves up. It's like crazy. It's a no wonder that people are stuck in their businesses. Just put your product, your best effort forward, put it out, and then what happens is this really cool thing happens. Melanie says, I get so nitpicky about my product pictures. Okay, well, don't get so nitpicky. I'm here to tell you, maybe you needed to be here. Yeah, of course, this is all what I call the polishing. And, we're doing this workshop coming up where I'm going to build a brand new Etsy shop. It's called The Easy as Pie. It's a passive income Etsy shop. I'm building a brand new business. And you'll see that when I start to do my branding, I'm not spending days and hours. 15 minutes, I've done my branding. Okay, then we polish it as we go. And that's the beauty of growing a business. You start, it looks nothing like usually what it is in the beginning, and you polish it along the way, you grow, you learn, and all of that stuff, being picky, is just going to hinder your success. Do the best you can without putting so much energy into the things that don't really matter. Because I'm telling you, I have seen really successful Etsy shops with not even their little icon photo of themselves or no banner. So yes, branding is super important, but I have seen those instances where there is no branding and they're still successful. So that goes to show you, put your emphasis on the things that are important, which is get your product out to the world. I'm Italian, can you tell? I use my hands a lot. So I hope this makes sense to you. I truly believe part of my success is that I committed to putting products every single day. It was almost every day I put a product till I hit 500 products. And I just saw this tremendous momentum happening. And my photos were okay. They weren't like anything spectacular, but it worked. People were looking for that product. And, the more like commercial, I hate to say it because we're creators and we don't want to be commercial, but the more commercial you can kind of make your products, the better, because we're in this world where commercial kind of wins. And I don't like that because I'm really like artsy and I love unique things, and my fashion designs are like very eclectic. But I notice, I hate to say it, but yeah, the more commercial stuff kind of wins over the real, artsy fartsy creative things. But so there you have it, the 5 cycle of the 5 C's to Etsy success. If you do this cycle and you can complete it and you do the consistency of the cycle, just let me know how it's working for you. I promise you are going to start seeing results because you're going to gather that information to move on, to make choices and better decisions in your business. Every time you create content, it just keeps like compounding, That's really the way it goes. Again, as Grant Cardone said in his book, there's really no secret to success. It's really consistency of getting stuff out there. And the cycle, I hope now, like puts it in your brain that, oh, wait a minute, I'm putting way too much emphasis on content consumption. I'm consuming 90% of the day, and then everything else gets 10%. So you can maybe balance out where you want to release your products all the time out to the world. Okay, so any questions before I go? No? Okay. So again, I am doing my workshop. Last night I had an awesome meeting with, there was several of us on. a Zoom meeting that we did a little meet and greet because I want to have this group that are creating their Etsy shops. I am on board with all of them and want to make this happen. You're very welcome, Melanie. So good to always see you. So yeah, just I'm going to be doing that workshop in about a week or two. And if anything, even if you have an Etsy shop, you're going to glean a lot of information because I'm going to help push you. Throw out your business plans and seriously just get moving, diving in. Love to have you. We already have 9 people signed up, and I'll leave the link below if you're watching on YouTube. Okay, guys, see you in the next YouTube live. Have a wonderful day. Happy creating.